to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. Before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to the two black men here, both Gillie and Wallo, for using their platform and making sure to speak out. And these are two men, and the reason why I'm going to highlight this is to let people know that they have a partnership with Barstool. And even though they have this partnership where a lot of money is basically involved, they still use that platform to speak out and to disassociate themselves from the language that was specifically used by the president of Barstool. So again, these are two men that are in a partnership where a lot of money is involved. And they're doing this with their platform and letting it be known that we don't stand for this. This is not okay. This is not the thing. It's like, you are 100% dead wrong for what it is that you said about Angel Reese. Like I said, if we have more of this, then a lot of things that take place in America when it happens to black people would, in a sense, cease to exist. But in order for that to take place, a lot of people have to not be afraid in order to stand up.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Angela. You did your thing. Second of all, I want to say something. It's cool if they do it. It's a problem if I do it. A great poet from our culture, Finesse Two-Time, once said that. Let me establish something very important. We talk about sports. We talk about basketball. Sports is a game where trash talk is done. Now, as we can see what took place this weekend, Caitlyn got her, she did her thing, and I'm not here to bash Caitlyn. Now, this is women. I'm not here to bash them.
Shout out to Caitlyn. She the shit.
She did her thing.
She's the shit.
But it wasn't no outrage. It wasn't no upset when she did it. She might got the complexion for the connection, but that's another story. But I'm going to say this. Shout out to Angela Reese. Y'all did a great thing. Y'all did y'all thing. Congratulations for being the champions. And I'm going to say this. We don't stand with nothing that Dave Portnoy said in any type, shape, forms, or fashion. We're not in agreement with that. We're not in alignment with that in any way. And number two, $1 million worth of game, LLC, is owned by two people, Wallace Peoples and Fernard Rasir. We do not work for Barstool. We have a partnership. We have a licensing deal. 100% ownership is by us. We don't have no bosses. I only got one boss, and that's God. And my wife, whenever that happens, whenever I get married. But other than that, that's how we rock.
You be your boss.
Yeah, you know how that shit. That's how that shit go, cuz. That's how it go. People like Tootie got the control of the money.
Oh, okay.
Well, shut up. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, shout out to Angela Reese. She did a great job, young sister. And we not just gonna stand for that. Like Dave, for her to be a classless piece because of basketball, you're wrong about that shit.
And we love you, Dave.
We put you, Dave, but
we fucked you the long way.
You're totally out of pocket for that. You're wrong for that. For a human being to be a classless piece of shit for sports where it's nothing but trash talking and talk, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. And we're not going to let you do that to ours. We can't go for that. We're not going to be having that. But shout out to Angela Reese. You did your thing. Shout out to everybody that was involved, all you women. Played the ball and had a hell of a time. But we need to be talking about something different.
Shout out to Iowa, too. They came up and played hard.
Yeah, they played hard. But shout out to the whole LSU. Y'all did a great job. Congratulations, Queens, on your championship. And it's just like that.
Right!
Now, the reason why I'm doing this video and why it's so important is to show the fact that, as you can clearly see in the image, it states that Gillie the Kid and Wallo get emotional after seemingly signing a major deal for their podcast, $1 million worth of game, right, with Barstool Sports. And as I told you guys before in the other video, Barstool Sports is owned, right, by El Presidente Dave, right here, right? So obviously this dude has a lot of money to throw around. You'll have some, people directly out there, if they were to sign the type of deal, the money that is being exchanged, right? Some people wouldn't even say anything. Some people would stay completely silent. They would mind their business. They'd be like, hey, I disagree with it, but I say that, on the low around, other people. If somebody, ask a question, I might, happen to say something, but, I ain't trying to really mess up this money. Right. And, you have a lot of black people out there that are like this. They'll have that type of mindset where it's like, yeah, I can't really say this because it's too much on the line. Right? They care more about the money than actually speaking out and, maybe possibly potentially, risking something. Right? That's in a sense what they did. Now, I don't know what their contract is. I don't know specifically what it states, but regardless of it, they stood 10 toes and they spoke their piece. They made sure to let people know, like, hey, yeah, business wise, we do mess with this dude because, we're in a business relationship. But other than that, we don't agree with the things that he states, like the things that are coming directly out of his mouth. We don't have anything to do with that. Again, business relationship, personal relationship, two completely separate, different things. Right. And that's the main stance that they were trying to let people know and inform people directly about, because sooner or later, people were going to try to put a lens more than likely on Gillie and Wallo and be like, hey, aren't you guys a part of, Dave's business? And, aren't you guys like signed? And doesn't he own you guys because he gave you guys X amount of money? And this is why they had to explain to people that the only two owners that are there are Gillie and Wallo. That's it. Nobody else. They're in a partnership with Barstool. Partnership is different from ownership, right? And then both of the brothers went into the aspect of showing respect for both of the players, both of the teams, right? And went into the other aspect of breaking down how this is a problem where it's fine for thee, but not fine for me, right? That's clear cut what Wallo stated. And he also stated that, hey, maybe she got the complexion for the protection. So this is why, white America isn't really paying attention to specifically what it is that she did. This is why Dave is not specifically paying attention to what it is that she did, because they see themselves through her. They see their family, their friends, their daughters, their nieces, their granddaughters, their the daughters of their next door neighbors, maybe a girl that they grew up with, right? They see all of that through their eyesight whenever they look at her. That's what they see. So then when it comes to Angel, which I've stated quite a few times, even though Wallace said her name was Angela, I'll just go by the name of Angel because she rose to the heavens, because that's what she did, right? And he was explaining how it is that it's funny that everybody is getting on her for doing the exact same thing her opponent did. Right? She's known as being a trash talker. She's known as being cocky, but nobody's saying nothing about that. Nobody has an issue with that at all. Right? And, you know, as they stated, it's like, yo, you're wrong. You're dead wrong on what it is that you are clear cut saying about this young black woman who is playing at the peak of the game, and you want to in a sense try to down her success. You want to try to muddy the waters. You want to try to take the shine directly off of her and that trophy and that ring, because you and many others like you feel a certain type of way about how it is that she celebrated or what it is that she did. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, because if it came down to the aspect of this was two white teams and the girl who did this was Caucasian to another girl who was Caucasian, it wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't be a thing. But it is a thing because, again, you're looking at the story of America. You're looking at the story of two people that are from opposite sides of the track. And America can only relate to one side of the track because that's what they choose to relate to. And also, that's because that's what they grew up with. They grew up with seeing themselves as the champions, the hero of every single story, the ones having that Cinderella moment and all of those things. Right. And this also shows what takes place when you have a grouping of people that have that one great white hope and they lose. So you're, in a sense, seeing all of America coming down to this boiling point of like, yo, this is wrong. They can't talk about she's, in a sense, a bad player. They can't talk about she's, the girl is just a bench warmer. She ain't never get no time. She ain't never do nothing. They can't say really any of that. Some people have tried, but they really can't say that as a whole. So they have to try to get at her some other type of way to try to diminish what it is that she specifically did. Like I said, America, this is you. At the end of the day, this is what it looks like when you have people that say that, oh, I'm not racist, I don't see color, and then you put them into a moment like this where the great white hope is supposed to sit up and win, supposed to be the champion, supposed to have that Cinderella story, it's supposed to be the hero, and it's supposed to be the mightiest of all, and then they just fall short. They just fall short. And behind all of this, it still deals with race because they're looking at the other woman as, yo, you are pretty much the best. And you'll hear people say this like, yo, she is the best by far in the sport. You know, she can do this, she can do this, she can do this, she can do this. She's elevated, women's basketball. They will give her all of those titles and say all of those things. And then behind all of that, you see why it is that they are so angry, that they are so enraged, why it is that they called the young angel, why they called her too hood, why they called her too ghetto. Because they didn't want that image to be able to overcome their version of greatness. And because that image, all of those brandings that they gave her, now they got to eat that. Now they got to hold that L because you said she was this, that, and third. And then now you have your champion, which you've put directly on this pedestal, gave her all of these titles. And now everything that you stated about her technically doesn't mean anything because she didn't bring home that title. She didn't bring home that award. She is not that champion that you said that she was. And it happens and it's okay. But it's hard to tell people that are so used to winning in history that everybody loses and it's okay to lose because they're not used to losing, or at least hearing of those stories, because they're the main ones that write their own stories, win or lose. But here we are. And again, I just want to give a shout out to Wallo and Gillie the Kid for showing as much love, respect, and support that they did for both of the teams there, and specifically coming out and using their platform, given the business relationship that they have, coming out here and speaking and defending this young black woman and this team.